conference for, I don't know, if the media is still waiting in the lobby and media still needs to set up, I'm thinking at least another 5 to 10 minutes before we actually get to that press conference. But I do.
Okay, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Wanted to check in with you guys. There's a press conference starting soon, but I think they're running a few minutes late. And I was just recording a video for the second page. So last night, if you missed it, we were live on Ick and Mel Clips. So people watching the rebroadcast or watching now, make sure you subscribe to the second page with notifications on. Because we were talking about a bunch of stuff that was coming up.
By the flooding of the Guadalupe River in Texas in the United States, we pray for them. That again is a statement that our Pope Leo just put out on Twitter or X, and it just goes to show that this is not just local. People across the country are helping, and I have so many friends that are texting, asking how we're doing down here, but this is a global
Good morning, everybody. Welcome.
concern.
It really is. And I think if we could do the weather, I do want to show the radar, and I want to show that there are some flashes of lightning even out in Kerr County right now. You can see that we've got some of that rain falling just west of Kerrville. These are not causing any flooding, so that's good news. But we are seeing, again, the potential here for some heavier rain is going to be possible throughout the day. The reason why these thunder showers are not causing any flooding right now is because they're moving. But as I tilt this to the side here, you can.
We also last night talked about the timeline and the alerts. I actually saw a really interesting video last night after I got off the live stream. I'm going to see if I can pull it up. I don't know if you guys have seen this. You guys tell me in the chat. There was this guy. Let me see if I can find a video. There was this guy that's like a history channel. And like literally a couple of days, a day or two before this massive historical flood happened in Texas, he literally posted a video about the historic flood that happened in 1987. It was pretty wild. This is the channel right here. If you want to watch it at some point, we could listen to a little bit of snippets. But this is the channel. Have you guys seen this yet? I subscribed to him. His History Corner. And he literally, a few days before this massive flood, historic flood, he posted a video on the massive flood that happened in 1987. And he was getting so many replies because people were like, yo, the coincidence, what's going on? Is he a time traveler? He said lots of comments about the timing of this video. I'm as shocked as you are. The flood back in 1987 had quite an effect on me when it happened, and I never forgot it. So last week I decided to make a video on it, and no, AI did not make or post the video. Never dreamed of it was about to happen again. It's heartbreaking. Crazy, huh? And so if you listen to this video, the crazy thing to me, it's like a lot of it is like repetitive. It's not in the sense of that, like everything is like happening again. Like literally, it's almost the same type of the rescues, the notifications that were sent out. Like everything's almost similar. Young people were all killed. In the blink of an eye, 43 young lives would be swept into chaos.
Blink of an eye, 43 young lives would be swept into chaos, and a desperate battle would begin to save as many as possible as the peaceful Guadalupe River near Comfort, Texas, transformed into a raging death trap.
Welcome to History Corner.
On the night.
So it was a really devastating
week leading up to the 1987 Guadalupe River flood. Over 300 children were attending a church camp at
It even had a church camp.
Potto Gold Ranch, about 2 miles southwest of Comfort, Texas. The campers had enjoyed a week of fellowship, sports, and rodeo. Chip Asbury described it as, "It was lots of fun, a blast." The camp was scheduled to end on July 17th. The same day, the flood hit.
Hey, Bailey.
Authorities warned the camp twice, at 2 a.m. and 6 a.m., not to cross the river due to the incoming flood wave. At around 7:45 a.m., camp leaders decided to evacuate the children. A caravan of buses and a van attempted to leave, but encountered a flooded low-water road that parallels the river. They decided to try an alternate route. The lead buses in the caravan successfully made the sharp turn to head a different direction. However, the rapidly rising water from the river, now out of its banks, and the backwash from the convoy caused the last bus to stall, and a van behind it to become stranded. Forming a human chain, the campers attempted to wade to safety. But before they could make it out of the water, a wall of water from an old, historic channel, estimated to be half a mile wide, hit the stalled vehicles from the left. 39 teenagers and 4 adults were carried away by the floodwaters. Flash floods are no joke. 6 inches can knock you off your feet.
It's pretty crazy, man. Oh, here we go. We're getting started.
Count for those people that
They're
were just
ready.
in town getting an Airbnb on the river. And again, the number that we have for Camp Mystic is 27 campers at all girls Christian camp along the river outside of Hunt.
Yeah,
we know that there's 27 missing there because they know how many campers were at that camp. So that is a different number associated with the missing. But here's the positive news. Over 850 people rescued.
Yes.
And
a lot of them by helicopter, right?
Helicopter, when we were there first thing in the morning on Friday, I went up to the officers that had that Highway 39 closed to the most devastated area in Hunt, and they kind of looked at me, and it was a look of almost helplessness because they were like, our boats are on standby. Everyone has to be rescued by aircraft, and we are waiting for aircraft to come in. This was like at 7 in the morning when, it was... I posted about this walking into Ingram Elementary when they were first setting up that first responder kind of depot headquarters. I walked in there and it was palpable how raw that emotion was, talking to the first responders, and they had kind of just been hit with how bad and devastating this is. And, they have their boats, they can't get in because the river was just still rushing and not letting up. And they were just like, we're waiting on aircrafts. And I knew, I was like, this is dire. Yeah. This is not going to be good because I could see it on their faces, how severe it was. And that's when I got a text about the camps down there in Camp Mystic, and lots of people still wondering how they're going to get hold of their campers. And then the stories started coming in. But I want to applaud also highlighting the stories of survival, and thanks to our first responders who have made those stories of survival possible. Japhanie, we've been talking about the gravity of the situation, the emotions. We're all in this together. We're people, and it's been tough. I mean, we've both covered a lot of, unfortunately, a lot of tragedies. The 2021 winter storm, Uvalde, and now this. And this one is tough.
It's very heavy, and that's one thing that, as today is the day of prayer, our hearts are still just going out to all those families. And I know there are so many people out there still waiting for those answers. Family members with missing children, or with missing brothers and sisters and dads and grandpas. Again, we got to remember, this was the 4th of July. A lot of people had gone to bed excited about waking up, celebrating America's birthday, and having that, all the floods come through with so many campers who this happened.
And last night, they're getting ready to start.
Conference. I'm sorry.
No, they are, guys. They are lining up.
So remember, I had the It Could Melt page too. So last night we did a live stream on It Could Melt clips. Last night it was a late night stream, so if you missed it, just make sure you subscribe to It Could Melt clips. I did an extra video. I wanted to save the notifications on the main page, but I also have live updates, and I posted. Here we go. Actually, we'll talk about it after.
This is the 10 a.m. briefing from the Kerr County response.
This is live now, guys. Live.
Disaster. First up today, we have Sheriff Larry Letha.
Y'all ready? Once again, Larry Letha, Kerr County Sheriff. Again, thank y'all for covering this and helping us get the message out. I'll start first, and then our city manager will go next and give you some information, and then we'll finish with our Kerrville mayor. Okay, what I'm here to do, like I said, is give you all the most current updated information. Please bear in mind these numbers will continue to change. As I'm walking in the door, I'm getting texts. It's going to be like yesterday. I think these numbers will continue to change and increase as time goes on. But like I said, we'll do a good job on keeping you updated. Search and rescue operations continue with a full response from local, state, and national first responders. At present, there's over 400 first responders for more than 20 agencies that are working in Kerr County. We have more than a dozen canine working in and near the river. More than 100 air, water, and ground vehicles are in the field right now working on this search and rescue. As of 9 a.m. this morning, we've recorded 59 deceased in Kerr County. Among those who are deceased, we have 38 adults and 21 children. 18 adults pending identification, and 4 children are also pending identification. At present, there are 11 Camp Mystic campers unaccounted for, along with 1 counselor. We extend our sincerest condolences and prayers for every single family affected by this tragedy. And we continue to work around the clock and reunite these families. We will continue to search efforts until everybody is found. Our missing person call center is open, and those reporting missing loved ones can call the number 830-258-1111. I'll repeat one more time, 830-258-1111. Please follow the Kerr County Sheriff's Office and City of Kerrville Facebook for your latest information. At this time, I'll turn it over to our City Manager, Dalton Rice.
Thank you, Sheriff. Thank you all for being here today. Everyone in the community is hurting, and we know many of you are locals or have some local connections here, so please keep everybody in your thoughts as we continue to navigate this very challenging time for our community. Search operations continue. Starting about 0600 this morning, we started putting boots on the ground. We have increased our number of personnel that are navigating the really challenging shores along the bank line, but we are continuing to make progress from west to east as we continue operations. What we really need from y'all is to really help us get the word out. We know that people want to volunteer, but what we're starting to see is personal drones that are flying. With these personal drones that are flying, that is a danger to aircraft, which risks then further operations. So if you could, please pass the communication along that we need to keep these personal drones out of the sky. We have drones and assets flying. We want to continue to do that. For volunteers and donations, we do have a phone number, 830-465-4794. We can give you that number after, but if you want to volunteer, if you have donations, please contact that number and they will help get everything out. We have families who need to be reunited, and we are continuously making effort to make sure that our families are reunited. We want to continue to work together with our community. We appreciate everybody here, and we want to make sure that we stay Kerr United. I'm going to let the mayor wants to say a few words, and then I will take a couple questions after the mayor.
Again, thank you for being here. You know, I'm old enough to remember Fred Rogers, and he one time said during a crisis, look for the helpers. You will always find people who are helping. In Kerrville, those helpers are city staff, county personnel, state agencies, and federal agencies. The entire Kerrville City Council is on site today. We're doing everything we can. Let me repeat something I said yesterday. In our Emergency Operations Center, it's not a bunch of different teams. It's one team. Our goal is to rescue those in peril and find those who are lost. If you are interested in donating to help those families who've been affected, you can visit the Community Foundation of the Texas Hill Country They've set up a portal for donations. And I understand our community, our state, and the world have been responding. Thank you. Kerrville's branch of the Salvation Army has been designated as our official partner for volunteer coordination and in-kind donations. They can be reached at a number very similar to what you just heard, 830-465-4797. Also, we have a website for volunteers to register, a different website. It's tcr.communityos.org. It's important to follow the City of Kerrville's Facebook page for updates. If you follow social media and are interested in such things, I may be too old to tell you this, but there is a hashtag. It's hashtag Kerr United. That's what we are. We're united to help those who are grieving and to find those who are lost. And now we'll open up to questions. I cannot answer operational questions. I'm going to ask the city manager to come back up.
I'm not sure who can answer this, but we just talked with business owners who are very concerned, not only for themselves, but also for employees, about how are they going to pay their mortgage, how are they going to pay their electricity. They've been having people reach out to them about their bills, and they're terrified that in the middle of all this, th're going to get cut off or evicted.
We are working through everything right now. Currently our biggest focus is to making sure that we get families reunited with their loved ones. And so we are not going to stop until we are able to get those families reunited.
This is a question for both you and the sheriff. There appears to be a massive operation now in Center Point. Is that where we're seeing bodies recovered at this moment?
We are seeing bodies recovered all over, up and down. So as we make our way east to west, we have the entire pretty much span of operations. We broke it down into grids so we can recover those bodies. So yes, it is a full operation.
None as of this morning.
Mr. Rice.
One more question. Sure.
Yeah, well, one of the questions that still hasn't been answered 3 days into this is, despite TEM's warning on July 2nd, July 3rd, that something like this could have happened, that the threat existed, why that information didn't get down to the camps and why they weren't evacuated. Can you answer that now?
That is a great question, but again, we want to make sure that we continue to focus. We still have 11 missing children that we want to get reunited with our families.
Answer the question, though.
Until we can get reunited with our families, we are not going to stop. We are not going to stop until we do. So thank you.
But just a quick follow-up question, sir. Was any emergency alert given out on the 4th, that morning of? Did anyone get any alert?
Families who deserve better than that.
Into that press conference.
So they seem kind of hot. They don't want to answer that question. The articles that I had, so part of what we talked about last night on the IKML Clips channel was, okay, besides the political stuff and people rallying, some people, people saying Texas deserves it and blah, blah, people celebrating, some people. Besides that, we talked a little bit about the timeline. And from what I got from multiple articles, I don't know why he just don't answer the question. That's a valid question. I understand the search is still happening. Let's listen to that part again, and then we'll talk a little bit about the timeline. Good morning, you guys. Good morning. I know it's early for some. We're a little bit earlier on the channel than normal. You know what I'm saying? Kind of. I feel like I got a later crew lately, but
one more question. Sure.
Yeah, well, one of the questions that still hasn't been answered 3 days into this is, despite TEM's warning on July 2nd, July 3rd, that something like this could have happened, that the threat existed, why that information didn't get down to camps and why they weren't evacuated. Can you answer that now?
That is a great question, but again, we want to make sure that we continue to focus. We still have 11 missing children that we want to get reunited with our families. Until we can get reunited with the families, we are not going to stop. We are not going to stop until we do. So thank you.
But just a quick follow-up question, sir. Was any emergency alert given out on the 4th, that morning of? Did anyone get any alert?
Families who deserve better than that.
so what I had on the website. This is what I got from multiple articles. Supposedly, okay, supposedly there was an alert July 3rd at 1:18 p.m., but it was a flash flood warning. I posted this. We talked about this last night. I posted on the update section of my webpage. There was an update at 11:18, flash flood watch. But nobody, this is like a normal thing. Nobody's going to do anything with that. Then at 12:15, flash flood warning upgraded alert as rainfall intensified, but many were already asleep. National Weather Service. Then at 4:03 a.m., flash flood emergency declared after river levels surged. Too late for many to evacuate. Most people were probably sleeping at that time. Some people probably had I'm thinking they were asleep. You know, does these notifications bypass if your phone's on silent? Between 4:30 and 5:30 that morning, flood impact. Guadalupe River overwhelms Camp Mystic. Children asleep in cabins swept away. And these cabins, these camps, especially with children, there should be somebody and some type of staff member. You know, hindsight's always 20/20, but there should be some type of staff member that is at least has their phone not silent or whatever. And if some type of emergency is happening overnight, they can wake up everybody, address everybody. There needs to be some type of communication. Besides these alerts, and maybe they need to be improved. Somebody, official, something, they need to be in touch with somebody. So this guy, the way he didn't answer that, I get you're searching. And these guys have been a little bit more informative than the press conferences with Governor Abbott, which has to me been a complete waste. Abbott, it's just been a pony show. It's just been a horse trick. It's been a little pony display with Governor Abbott. I don't think they provide any insight, Governor Abbott. These are the guys here actually providing some, like, all right, well, here's the websites, here's the search, this is what's going on. But I really feel like you should have answered that question. That's a legit, valid question the reporter was asking. And I get that the search is ongoing, but people have questions. There's many. Oh, now, and then they said, I didn't even hear that. I was so focused. 59 dead. 59 dead. That's a very valid question. I mean, like I said on that stream yesterday at some point in the afternoon, that I can't imagine if it was my family or my friends or my loved ones out there, and you're not even allowed to ask questions. I'm surprised they even took the 2 whatever questions they took here, because the governor one, 3 questions, you gotta go, 3 questions, and just rushed off. We're not really gonna answer anything. People deserve to ask questions. You know?
Those who are grieving, to find those who are lost. And now we'll open up to questions. I cannot answer operational questions.
Why? Why can't you answer operational questions? You act like it's a manhunt, and if you answer operational questions, it's going to give away the manhunt or something.
I'm going to ask the city manager to come back up.
I'm not sure who can answer this, but we just talked with business owners who are very concerned, not only for themselves, but also for employees, about how are they going to pay their mortgage, how are they going to pay their electricity. They've been having people reach out to them about their bills, and they're terrified that in the middle of all this, they're going to get cut off or evicted.
We are working through everything right now. Currently our biggest focus is to making sure that we get families reunited with their loved ones. And so we are not going to stop until we are able to get those families reunited.
This is a question for both you and the sheriff. There appears to be a massive operation now in Center Point. Is that where we're seeing bodies recovered at this moment?
We are seeing bodies recovered all over, up and down. So as we make our way east to west, we have the entire pretty much span of operations. We broke it down into grids so we can recover those bodies. So yes, it is a full operation.
None as of this point.
Mr. Rice.
One more question.
Sure.
Yeah, well, one of the questions that still hasn't been answered 3 days into this is, despite TEM's warning on July 2nd, July 3rd, that something like this could have happened, that the threat existed, why that information didn't get down to camps and why they weren't evacuated. Right. Can you answer that now?
That is a great question, but again, we want to make sure that we continue to focus. We still have 11 missing children that we want to get reunited with our families. Until we can get reunited with the families, we are not going to stop until we do. So thank you.
But just a quick follow-up question, sir. Was any emergency alert given out on the 4th, that morning of? Did anyone get any alert?
There are families who deserve better than that.
To that press conference, we got on some unfortunate numbers coming in as far as an update, Sarah.
That's right. We have 59 dead, 38 of them adults, 21 of them children, still waiting on the IDs of some of those adults and children. And I think one of the big numbers that people are focusing on is that Camp Mystic is still missing 11 counselors and I'm sorry. Camp Mystic still missing 11 campers, one counselor. That number has gone down from 29, but unfortunately, the death toll has gone up to 59 people dead. It's unfortunate that we keep getting this death toll number up. Again, 59 dead, 38 of them adults, 21 of them children, still pending on several of those IDs. That Camp Mystic number, 11 campers still unaccounted for, and one of them is a counselor. And we, of course, did not get a number. Again, I want to reiterate the amount missing across the hill country because they can't even put a number on it at this point.
And he did mention that bodies were just being found throughout, so that's something that we're definitely going to stay on top of. I know they said that they've been working around the clock with all of their first responders. At that last check, he says from the local and state response, they have had 400 first responders from more than 20 different agencies working. They have K9s on the ground. They got helicopters in the air. And again, they've just been saying they're going to work around the clock to reunite these families, try to find more families. And they also listed off a couple things that you can do if you have a loved one that is missing. There's that number that we've been telling you guys about all morning long, where it's 830-258-1111. But also, they are asking if you are interested in volunteering. There is a process that they have, so that way they're not, swarmed with so many people. Obviously,
Can we put that number on the screen? That volunteer number is 830-465-4794.
Yes.
That is if you want to volunteer or donate. If we can put that on that screen, that'd be helpful.
Yes.
I'm going to repeat it one more time for those in the back. 830-465-4794. That number is if you want to volunteer or donate and help out, because...
Hold on, somebody tagged me. One wonder, let's see. Well said. Let's see what you said.
Disasters who run for federal office, that whenever disasters like this happen, they take it upon themselves to first list all the names of people that they want to thank.
Oh, I'm surprised the reporter went off. This is literally I tweeted this shit yesterday. Some people were like, "Man, you do it too much." When I said, it's a thank you fest. Yesterday with the governor, it's like a thank you fest. Listen, those people that are out there searching and rescuing, that's amazing. Thank those people. But to sit there and these officials like all day long, wasting time and not even give anything concrete.
What we want here right now, what we want is actual information. That is what the people of Kerrville and all over the hill country are waiting for right now. That was a lot longer than it needed to be. If they don't have the latest information that they can give us, they should have said so. My point is that they spent way too long thanking each other, and this is something that is bipartisan. We see it whenever.
I'm a thank you.
Where there's a disaster, doesn't matter which president is in office. For some reason, federal leaders tend to thank each other for a long time before they tell us what we actually need. And my point.
Why all this thing with all the agencies? Why do we have to sit here and say all this thank you shit all the time? Get to give us some substance.
Who run for federal office, that whenever disasters like this happen, they take it upon themselves to first list all the names of people that they want to thank. Not what we want to hear right now. What we want is actual information. That is what the people of Kerrville and all over the hill country are waiting for right now. That was a lot longer than it needed to be. If they don't have the latest information that they can give us, they should have said so.
You're talking about yesterday.
My point is that they spent way too long.
You're right, soundboard.
Whenever there's a disaster, doesn't matter which president is in office. For some reason, federal leaders tend to thank each other for a long time before they tell us what we actually need. And my point is that I'm hoping this is the fifth news.
I wish I would have caught that live yesterday.
This is that the number of missing is going down, but unfortunately that number of dead is going up. And so it is hard to hear, and 59 dead from these floods. Let's just take a breath, because that is a lot.
Yeah,
and
insane.
You know, boots on the ground, they still have so much debris to go through. I mean, it's tremendous the amount of debris, trees, homes that they have to go through, hoping that if they do find someone stuck in a tree or under a home, that they'd be alive at this point. They are still calling this a rescue rather than a recovery situation, but it is tough. It is tough. And I really just pray for all of the families who have not found their loved ones at this time.
And you heard from Governor Greg Abbott saying that he's telling everybody to treat these operations as if these people are still alive. So again, we're going to be following this closely. And unfortunately, we're still dealing with rain in our forecast. Meteorologist Sarah Spivey, you've been kind of paying close attention to this, kind of giving people the heads up ahead of time.
That's right. We do have a flood watch in effect because we are expecting more rainfall on already soaked grounds, essentially. Now, the rain that's occurring in the hill country at the moment is not creating flooding, but it certainly, I'm sure, is creating a bit of nervousness. There's been flashes of lightning in the area that has experienced that extremely devastating flooding. And I just want to put this in perspective. The reason why there is such devastation is because of the volume of rain that fell in these areas. In fact, when we look at the rainfall in this area over July 4th, in a matter of hours, 12 inches of rain fell along 39, which hugs the river, the South Fork of the Guadalupe River. And putting that in a different perspective for you, as 12 inches of rain over a large portion of the ground, that equals 100 billion gallons of water. It's estimated at that. That is more than the amount of water that falls over Niagara Falls in a day. That is way more. It's about 65 million in a day over Niagara Falls. 100 billion gallons of water flowing right into the Guadalupe River. The Guadalupe was swollen. Here's a recap of what happened and why people are finding bodies all along the river. It happened at night. Worst case scenario, heavy rain that didn't let up. By 4:35 in the morning, when people were sleeping, the river at Hunt rose to 29 feet. 10 minutes later, that wall of water came to Kerrville, rose to 23 feet. And then by the time it got to Center Point, where there's indications from that press conference that there's a large presence there at Center Point as they are doing this rescue recovery effort, around 7:15 in the morning on July 4th, that's when we saw the river rise to 21 feet in crest there before flowing into Comfort area, 35-foot crest by 11 o'clock. By this time of day, it was light outside. People were probably able to evacuate a little bit quicker. And so one of the reasons why we're seeing such recovery and rescue efforts north of Comfort is because it happened at night when people were sleeping.
Right.
Then through
Do you remember a couple of years ago in Texas at that school where the police stood down? Not much was said then either.
Yeah.
What's up with Texas?
The Uvalde situation? Yeah. This lady actually does a really good job of breaking down the timeline details that we talked about with those alerts that went out. You know, the time of night that it happened. They really need to fix that whole system. If there's some type of flood watch warning and you're sending stuff out. But like I said last night too, some of these people, they don't want those. They complain. I don't want to be woken up out of my sleep for this shit. You know,
a lot of winds and bends in the Guadalupe River. And eventually by the evening of July 4th, that river crest at Amon's Crossing at 50 feet before finally heading closer to Canyon Lake, where the Guadalupe River has been able to drain into Canyon Lake. It crested at Spring Branch yesterday morning at 5 o'clock. But we weren't done, because even though Canyon Lake was fairly empty at the time, we had a ton of rain along the area downstream of Canyon Lake along the Guadalupe River. And even right now, the stream flow is so intense in those areas. We can bring up the stream flow, the latest stream flow. Notice that downstream of Canyon Lake at New Braunfels, it's flowing at 566 cubic feet per second. That's well above the average. But farther downstream near Seguin, we're seeing stream flow of 4,000 cubic feet per second. Not only is that river fast, but that river's carrying debris still. And so the Guadalupe River is a dangerous place to be around. Not necessarily because it's flooding right now, but because the waters are fast and the waters have a lot of debris in them. I want to go ahead and go back to talking about the weather situation for the day today. As you can see, there is some rain right now in western Kerr County, but it is not flooding. We do have some heavier rain falling right now in Uvalde County between Concan. We can bring it back to me. Thank you. We do have some showers occurring from Concan out.
The first weather lady that could understand what the hell they were talking about. She did a really good job.
Start to see rain chances go.
I think we're going to break, right?
Yeah, Thursday and Friday. All right, where are we headed to next?
I think we're going to break, right?
Yeah, we're going to take a quick break. Sarah, thank you for that. And we are going to take a break after 11, come back on air at noon, continuing our wall-to-wall coverage. But stay with us. We'll be right back.
Okay. Let's see.
Oh, but at this time, we're just kind of feeling this firsthand. Numbers are coming in the morning is carrying on.
First responders, dispatchers, road crews, utility workers, and volunteers,
Travis County?
And people, citizens, residents who have exercised extraordinary bravery over these past 48 hours. You've saved countless lives, sustained hope in the darkest moments, and will continue to do so
Travis
in
County's
big and small
right
ways over the days and weeks ahead. For all the people and communities that are impacted, we stand with you and are doing all that we can to support you. I want to thank the National Weather Service for sending out alerts before, during, and now after the bulk of the storm. Heavy rains fell across the region, especially in northwestern Travis County, triggering widespread flash flooding largely along Sandy Creek and Cow Creek, starting sometime around midnight on Friday, building throughout the night into the morning. This led to homes, cars, and people being washed away. I spoke just this morning with folks. I went out to visit ESD1 and the other ESDs that are helping them out there out near Nameless Road along Sandy Creek. They showed me the people there. The firefighters showed me multiple houses, trailers largely that had been washed away, just simply pieces of them down the creek, cars along with them down the creek. I met four guys that live sort of across the creek. There were about 10 trailer homes there. They all survived, but they had a very scary night where water was coming into their trailers, and they didn't have a way a way to get out. Their cars also had been washed away. They were in a tough situation. They told me that they received alerts about 12 noon before this all started, about midnight, and then alerts throughout the night as well from the National Weather Service. I spoke with ESD1 firefighters who helped evacuate people from the second floor of a house. The first floor was full of water. People were in the second floor. They helped them evacuate. I think that story repeats over and over the hard work of these first responders over the last couple of days. By Saturday afternoon, we had confirmed the deaths of 4 individuals. I think you'll hear more about that from others. Due to this event, 1 person in the Briarcliff area, 3 additional fatalities that ESD1, I believe, responded to in that area. There were 3 separate incidents, I think. Search and rescue operations are still going on this morning. The team at AA, I joined them at their 8 a.m. briefing this morning where they divided up where they're going to be walking largely along Sandy Creek to look for folks up and down the creek. It's about, my understanding, it's about 18 miles of creek between the top and where it hits the lake. Austin Travis County EMS, you'll hear from them today. They responded to dozens of water rescues, most of them concentrated in western portions of the county near Cow Creek and FM 1431, where, again, mobile homes were swept away and residents were forced to deal with rising waters in the middle of the night. In response, I signed a local disaster declaration for Travis County on Saturday morning. My understanding is the governor has also added Travis County to his declaration of the disaster and has asked the federal government for assistance for this area as well. This helps us to activate mutual aid resources, coordinate with the state and federal partners, and accelerate emergency response and recovery efforts. We also launched a countywide emergency response operation that included activation of ESD1 and an EOC out there, deployment of medical and mental health response teams, and establishing a reunification center for families searching for missing loved ones. At the height of the storm, the National Weather Service issued additional flash flood emergency warnings for portions of Travis, Williamson, and Burnett counties, including the I-35 corridor. Some areas received over a foot of rainfall in a matter of hours. Low water crossings were quickly overwhelmed, and floodwaters caused extensive damage to roads, bridges, and homes, particularly in the western region of Travis County. And then late on Saturday afternoon, Travis County received an alert from the LCRA, the Lower Colorado River Authority.
I'm going to be setting up. I was going to post the video on the second page, but I'm setting up a live. I think we'll go live there. I want to cover another part of the story that's kind of like crazy, kind of somewhat just nasty. So we'll get into it.
And water levels rose rapidly along the Colorado. This action was necessary to preserve structural safety and reduce upstream flooding, and added, of course, to the complexity of what everybody was dealing with downstream. Travis County worked alongside the Texas Department of Emergency Management. We've got Cody here today from TDEM, who has provided us lots of support and been a great partner in this, as well as working with surrounding Central Texas counties that also face dangerous flooding, evacuation orders, and ongoing water rescues. As for the catastrophic floods in Kerr County, Travis County is proud to have served as part of the coordinated effort that included Texas DPS, Texas Parks and Wildlife, Texas Task Force 1 Hilo Group, the Texas Military Department, and the U.S. Coast Guard, and of course TDEM. We deployed a Starflight helicopter with 1 pilot, 1 nurse, and 1 paramedic that completed 6 missions and 2 hoist rescues, moved 9 patients to a collection point, all in over about 4.5 flight hours. Throughout all of this, our first responders, dispatchers, road crews, utility workers, and volunteers exercised extraordinary bravery. I cannot thank this group of folks for their courage enough and for their quick actions. As we move forward, I want to reiterate that this disaster is not over. While floodwaters seem to be receding in many areas, the rain seems to be slowing down. Damage assessments, debris removal, and recovery operations will still take days and weeks. And we're still, I believe, under a flash flood watch until 7 p.m. today. So just, the same things we always urge folks: never drive into a low water crossing, especially during a storm. This had catastrophic consequences, I think, for some people in Travis County, and it's just something that you should never do still to this hour. Listen to your phone alerts. Make sure that you have an evacuation plan, especially if you live near a creek, even if it's dry, and use that plan if the National Weather Service or others recommend to evacuate. Stay away from flood damaged areas today.
Almost ready.
And tomorrow, unless authorized to return. Report hazardous conditions or missing persons to our emergency hotline. And continue to monitor Travis County social media and emergency websites for shelter information, aid registration, and road closures. You can find up-to-date information at traviscountytx.gov/emergency, including recovery resources. So we've been through a lot the last few days, but we're Travis County, and we're going to get through this together. We are committed to doing everything possible to protect lives, help families recover, and rebuild stronger than before. And I'm going to pass it on now to the Sheriff, Sally Hernandez.
So the death toll has gone up, guys.
Sally Hernandez, Travis County Sheriff. People in our community have been utterly devastated by this sudden, unexpected flooding that took place. My heart goes out to each and every one who has suffered such great loss. As flash floods hit on July the 5th, our 911 call center experienced a surge in calls. The timing of those calls paint a picture of when floodwaters hit the affected communities. At 1 a.m., TCSO dispatchers received 49 calls, and by 3 a.m., that number spiked to 112. Flood-related calls continued to come in steadily for hours after that. We were fully staffed for the 4th of July weekend, so we pivoted those resources, our patrol deputies, to respond to the 911 calls. Floodwaters rose so quickly that roadway access to many of those callers were completely cut off. Deputies assisted with rescue efforts throughout the early morning hours. As daylight came and devastation became very painfully evident, we continued rescue efforts, and our special response team went door to door checking on the welfare of all of those 911 callers that called in during the overnight hours. Unfortunately, our agency also assisted with recovery missions. Today, we're continuing our search and rescue efforts, and one of our lake patrol boats is out with Parks and Wildlife searching the Cow Creek area, which is only accessible by water at this time because of the roadways have been washed away. Our special response team, along with the Travis County Parks, are assigned to barricade roadways to keep people from driving into unsafe areas and to help prevent looting. Our drone team is in the Sandy Creek area today, assisting with search and rescue efforts. FM 1431 and Singleton Bend West toward Burnett County is blocked to the damaged roadways. Juniper Trail is impassable due to road damage, and Nameless Road is damaged but is passable through Terra Vista. I'm grateful for everyone that you see up here and their roles that they have played in trying to help our community. But what I'm more grateful for is the way that our community comes together and helps each other get through these really hard times. Thank you so much.
Eric?
Yeah, good morning. I'm Eric Carter. I'm the Chief Emergency Management Coordinator for Travis County. Again, I'm like the judge. It's okay. Hats off to the first responder agencies out at the Emergency Service District 1 and all across the county. They really stepped up in what is a no-notice holiday weekend to respond to a very critical incident. Of course, we're all thinking about the folks in Kerr County, but as we know locally, we also had some loss of life. So hats off to those folks. And again, our hearts are going out to them. From the Emergency Operations Center and here, the emergency management team, our sole focus in the first 24 to 48 hours is support to our first responders. Sheriff Hernandez was eloquent in telling you how she and the team have responded from the law enforcement side. Also, our public works team working hard, and we've got some folks here along with our parks folks and our transportation and natural resources department working yeoman's hours, doing everything from road safety issues, road closures, all the way to, again, search and rescue. So that's been our initial focus. While they'll continue that focus in the field at the ESD out in Lago Vista, we expect here we're going to be making our transition over to the recovery. We're getting to where we're going to get that incident stabilized. Now we're going to be moving into recovery. So right now, one of the initial needs folks need to understand, if people are out there and they want to know how to help, if you're a victim and you need immediate assistance, we want to encourage you to call the Red Cross. Red Cross is here with us today. They can help you with immediate needs. By later this afternoon, we'll be putting out additional resources. The Red Cross will make sure that you are sheltered, that you have an immediate ability to cover first in food, clothing, if you lost those things in flash flooding. We know there will be other needs. We've got a great team of volunteer agencies and community partners that are gathering here at the EOC, and we're going to look at other resources we can put out for the community. We expect our response to move from here to more out in the Lago Vista area. That's where the impact is. That's not to ignore what was going on in the Briar Cliff and other parts of the county, but we know just from the reports we received, the bulk of the impact is out in the Lago Vista ESD1 region. So that's where we'll be in the upcoming days. As I told the team, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. We've got to work through this over time. Our goal is to pace ourselves and do our jobs. So we're going to keep doing that. I'll let these folks here give you the highlights of their response. I don't even want to step over that, but they'll keep at it and we'll keep at it. So thank you. Chief. Thank you, Chief. Excuse me, sir.
Good morning. Rob Lukritz, Chief of Austin Travis County EMS. As was mentioned earlier, our hearts go out to everyone that was affected by this tragic event. From an Austin Travis County EMS perspective, in the early hours of Saturday morning, we received numerous 911 calls reporting individuals who were experiencing severe flooding requiring evacuation. Our teams, in collaboration with the Emergency Services District, deployed numerous resources. Austin Travis County EMS deployed 2 boat teams, as well as supervisory assets to assist in the command center, both in Travis County, in Lago Vista, as well as in Burnett County. We also dispatched several ambulances. In total, 25 individuals were rescued by our teams, and 4 of those were transported with non-life-threatening emergencies to local healthcare facilities. Our teams continue to work throughout the day to assist in the rescue efforts. In addition to our efforts here in Travis County, we continue to have assets deployed in Kerr County, where we have an ambulance bus as well as a boat team deployed from our agency. In addition, our community health paramedics also assisted with the Emergency Family Assistance Center, which I believe was in Leander. It's moved a couple times, to assist in the care for those families that were affected. And with that, I'll turn it back to Judge Brown.
We'll open up for questions.
Okay.
Yeah, questions right here.
So we know that 4 confirmed deceased. How many do we have missing right now?
So based on talking to the ESD this morning at the meeting that they had at 8 a.m., they suspect there's somewhere between 11 and 13, but those are largely unconfirmed. It's like they talked to somebody who said, we heard that this person is missing. There's one person that they told me about that they firsthand know is missing still. In talking to other people that live out there this morning, they pointed, to a car that they thought people were in that I could see, a quarter mile down the river. And so there are still people missing. We do not know exactly how many. I know firsthand that there was that one person confirmed missing by the ESDs.
Jason?
Judge Brown, you talked a little bit about the notifications of some people in Western Travis County.
Mm-hmm.
Could you talk more about what kinds of warnings people received and whether any of this death was preventable?
Yeah, so I can tell you what I have heard that people have received, and then, I don't know, Cody or anybody else, if y'all want to come up, please do. My understanding is that there was an alert from the National Weather Service sometime around noon on Friday. Then there was another one sometime around midnight. And then there was one somewhere around 4:30 a.m. as well. And then they continued on after that. Does anyone?
I'll add in.
You want to add in? Okay.
And the judge pretty much summarized it. All through the night, the team was both monitoring here and pushing. The Weather Service was very proactive in their warnings. We even called them a couple of times and said, we see problems. Can you issue a warning? And they did those warnings. So from a notification using the integrated public alert and warning system, those things that were firing off your phones, we were getting the message out. So very happy with that. The question of preventability, that can't be answered today, in the sense that the team is out there still doing the search and rescue and the recovery and the circumstances why any one individual would have found themselves in a tragic circumstance. We can't know that today, but I appreciate the question.
I know that we had mentioned that this was somewhat unpredictable. This came unexpectedly, but we do know that at least our meteorologists were forecasting that flash flooding could come in the northwest area of Austin. We know that this happened in creek areas. How predictable was this actually? Did this really sneak up on you? Is there anything that we could have done to protect human life?
I think the best thing that we can do is send those alerts out. That iPod system is very effective. It gets, my understanding of the technology,
very targeted. Yep.
If your cell phone is in that area, you get an alert. It's not like Warren Central Texas where you have to sign up for it. Some people get it, maybe some people don't. That is a very robust system, and my understanding is that the National Weather Service gave people many warnings, and obviously your news station did as well.
Next question. Follow up. Yep.
Follow up.
Mm-hmm.
Those 4 people that were deceased, did they originate from a home or a vehicle? Talking to the ESD this morning, they don't know where they originated from. My understanding is that at least 3 of those people they thought separate incidents in different areas, but they don't know the circumstances of how they got there.
Right here.
Did you have any communication from the governor's office in the preceding days to the storm?
In the preceding days, I did not, no.
Judge, and just to be clear, and we do have TDM here. TDM regularly, when there's any weather system, and Cody, please jump in if you need to, regularly hosts statewide conference calls to all jurisdictions to make people aware of the risk of a given weather system. As we approach that weekend, the risk for this area was really down to the south, and ultimately the people down in Kerrville, unfortunately, they got it, and that's where that focus was. This system just began to turn. And they are continuing their statewide conference calls, but they did everything they could to make sure all the areas, counties in Texas were aware of the system. Cody, you want to add anything to that?
No, that's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and just so you said governor's office, I did talk to Cody on Friday. He's with TDM. I did also talk with the governor's office as we're more into the storm, checked in with the governor's chief of staff. Yes.
Were there any evacuations held in Travis County?
There were evacuations, and ESD, do you want to talk about any of that? I know they told me this morning about people who were evacuated off of their roofs, things like that. Do you want to comment a little bit?
I can try. Michael Anderson, representing the Travis County Emergency Services Districts. When the event started to occur in the early morning hours, the agencies were called for dispatching for the rescues, for the immediate calls and needs. It's my understanding that the ESD1 area, the Lago Vista, Jonestown area, while they were also performing rescues, they worked to get notifications for evacuations. But most of their efforts were on the actual needs for the rescues. Any other further than that, I can't speak to that right now.
We're going to do last question here and follow it up right there.
Last question for me. I appreciate y'all's time and providing us these updates. We know that Travis County is one of the biggest counties in Texas. I want to ask, why did this press conference come hours after we know that the fatalities happened in our county?
I think we released them as they're happening, is my understanding. Our main focus is on the actual, helping people who are out there in the floodwaters, and so I think that was the biggest effort that we've all been working on. Chief Bailey from ESD 11 was the incident commander out around ESD 1, and so we had these folks out there and making sure that they had the resources that they need, of course. And then my understanding is that Hector and others were in communications with the press about details.
I just wanted to ask how many rescues there were, and if you could talk any more about them.
Yeah, so I heard from the ESDs this morning that they thought there were about 50 rescues, EMS. Does that sound about right? So I think they pointed at what's the name of that boat? The little inflatable boat? Zodiac. The Zodiac boat. They talked about rescuing folks using the Zodiac boat out there along Sandy Creek and along Cow Creek. They also helped people by foot leave their houses when the water was coming up. They assisted people to get out that way. So there were water rescues, there were land rescues. And I want to give an additional shout out to TDM so there was the initial stage of water rescues, people responding to 911 calls, asking for help that way. I think it was Saturday. My understanding is that TDM sent 2 teams. I think it was about 16 people total to add to about 20 or so people on our end to do additional search to help with rescues up and down the creek on Saturday. So that was sort of a land-based rescue effort, but so there was water and land-based, and then, yeah.
All right, folks, thank you all. If you all have any follow-up, please let me know.
One thing, Hector.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to publicize the Red Cross number.
Oh, go ahead.
So, folks, I'm Chuck Brotherton. I'm the County Executive for Emergency Services. We do have the Red Cross represented here with Mr. Pierre Wynn. Appreciate y'all being here. We have established a hotline for people to call, people who have been impacted by the flooding, people who are searching for loved ones who they may not be able to reach. The number is 1-800-RED-CROSS, REDCROS. The number is 733-2767. That's 800-733-2767. The Red Cross hotline, that is a national hotline. They will take your information. They will get a contact number for you. They will refer the call to local Red Cross here in Travis County, and those folks will get back to you to assess your needs and do everything they can to help.
Talk about damage.
Yeah, please.
Cody McDonald, Texas Division of Emergency Management, District Chief. We just want to encourage everyone that was impacted by this, if they have any damages to their homes, to submit those damages to damages.tdm.texas.gov. That helps us get a track of how many damages, how many homes are damaged, what those property values look like, so we can submit that for potential assistance. So again, damages.tdm.texas.gov. If you'd please submit your damages to us. Thank you.
And one last thing. So there's a lot of debris in the water, in creeks, of course, that a week ago weren't a creek. And then there also is a lot of debris in Lake Travis, Lake Austin. Please do not go in a boat or swimming in Lake Travis. Give us a couple of days at least, and until further notice, really, to make sure that debris goes away. So there should be no recreational boating in Lake Travis or Lake Austin or any of the other lakes right now, because there's a ton of debris, ton of hazards in there, and we want to make sure that people who are trying to engage in recovery efforts are not hampered by people trying to recreate in the lakes right now. Thank you.
And the previous press conference we watched, they gave a phone number too, like for people that want to volunteer or donate. I don't remember, it was on the previous one. They were saying that if you're gonna help out, that go through the official channels and stuff, so they can have like a record of you and stuff like that. Let me tell you, let's go through some of the stories. I set up a live stream on the second page for 12:30 and 30 minutes. We'll see how things are rolling over here. We could push it back, or we'll just start at 12:30. But so there's a family. Let's take a look. Texas flood rage over Trump, as Trump signs major disaster declaration amid brewing scandal where FEMA cuts. That's part of what we were talking about last night too. Where's that? Hold on. Where's that? Okay. I guess it changed from what it had before. We'll go through this and then the previous thing. Donald Trump has signed a major disaster declaration for the Texas flood amid growing criticism or cuts to FEMA. At least 59 people have been killed, 21 children, after the Guadalupe River rose more than 26 feet in just 45 minutes, sending a wall of water over the communities in Kerr County. Residents have started questioning why officials failed to warn them about the floods until 1:18 p.m., and they framed them as only moderate storms. The National Weather Service escalated the alert to flash flood warning at 1 a.m. Friday, then a more serious flash flood by 4:30. I have 4 a.m., but this one says 4:30. By this stage, the water was already pouring. Now, again, like I said, on akinmall.com, live updates, I put a little timeline there under the live updates for the last one, the 52 dead. I don't know. I have to leave this to the experts as far as how much advance warning they could give with this. So there's the 1:18 warning that they were talking about, July 3rd, 1:18 p.m., but it was just like a regular flash flood warning. Then at 12:15, it was upgraded by the National Weather Service, but many were asleep. And then by 4:03, there was a flash flood, which didn't give much time by then, flash flood emergency. And there's some people saying, this is really hard to predict. There was a flash flood watch, but that it was going to go to the levels that it did in such a fast amount of time. The other problem is that people were sleeping at this time too. And we talked about last night that these areas were hit with storms in June and in July before this happened, and so the soil was already saturated, and so that made things even worse. It comes after the Trump administration made major cuts to federal funding, impacting agencies like FEMA, which led to the response to the natural disaster. A flood watch remains in place for many of the worst hit areas. So he signed this. Now the FEMA cut, I had read that that's not even in effect yet. I don't know if it was supposed to be after hurricane season. It's not even in effect yet. Let me see. Let me double check that. Let me double check that. So Trump has stated that he was going to wind down FEMA because FEMA has gotten a lot of criticism in the past too about their resources and their spending. So he stated that he would wind them down after the hurricane season 2025, which runs from June 1st to November 30, 2025. This means that major cuts are planned to start rolling out December 2025, not immediately. So they're reporting this, but I don't even think it's actually in effect yet. He is going to cut it back. That doesn't mean that these states aren't going to get support. Look at North Carolina. But anyway, yeah, so he signed this major Texas disaster declaration. Texas flood death toll could top 100. This is just insane, the amount of deaths behind this. Oh, I guess a reaction.
Hello, everybody. So we had a good day. It was an amazing little party at the White House. Oh, that's terrible, the floods. It's shocking. They don't know the answer yet as to how many people, but it looks like some young people have died. Any federal aid for that? Oh, yeah. Good. We'll take care of it. We're working with the governor. It's a terrible thing. Happy 4th of July, everybody. Thank you very much.
59 people. I feel like he should say more on it, though, honestly. I don't know if that's all he said. I mean, he is signing stuff into place. The disaster declaration. Okay. Death toll rises to 59. We covered that this morning. Texans described clinging to trees. There was a family that I was trying to pull up, but it looks like they changed or updated the website. Camp Mystic director killed while trying to save girls. This is another person that another camp director is killed, I guess, because I saw there was another one. The director of Camp Mystic was killed trying to save the girls from the horrific flooding. Richard Dick Eastland, 70, was killed while trying to rescue campers from the rushing waters. His nephew, Gardner Eastland, confirmed the death in a Facebook post. Saturday, Eastland's wife, Tweety, was found safe at their home. 27 girls are missing. Texas man describes narrowly escaping as it flooded his Airbnb.
I immediately just went into, we need action mode. This is what we need to do. I made sure everyone was okay. What felt like, 2 minutes was actually a 2-hour ordeal. Friday morning, 4th of July, we were all at the Airbnb. We were in town for 4th of July and for a friend's birthday, and we were waken up by one of our dogs, Nash. He was pawing at the door, and a friend of mine woke up, happened to open the curtain, and saw one of our 4 vehicles being swept away. And that's kind of when everything just became surreal. Everyone in the house woke up. All 13 of us that were in the house, we were, despite everything going on, it was pretty calm and collected. And we just went around just checking everything. We're on the second floor of the Airbnb, and the water was coming up to the floor. So it was going really quickly, and we were stranded. We were struck. One of the trucks that was merged underneath the house and was banging up against the pillar. So I was very worried that the house was either going to fall or the water was going to continue to rise. So we're one of the great, the lucky ones, and we're extremely grateful for all the local support there in Kerrville. And despite everything going on, people still have a heart and are willing to help out strangers. So.
Republican congressional candidate claims floods are fake. Lord almighty. Georgia-based Republican congressional candidate Candace Taylor has claimed the floods were fake in a bizarre social media post. Fake weather, fake hurricanes, fake flooding, fake, Taylor wrote on X Saturday, the day after the floods deluged Central Texas. She later backpedaled after facing criticism, claiming she wasn't talking about Texas and was instead referring to the legislation being proposed due to weather modification. I don't know. I don't think so, girl. I don't think so. A hard time believing that, girl. Let's see.
West of Liberty Hill. Two people in that vehicle had driven off into the water. The car
Williamson
was
County's giving
stalled.
an update now.
They both got out. One was swept away. We're
You know,
still
he's
looking for
70
that
killed.
person today. At 7 a.m., right after daylight, we started going door to door in Williamson County east of Georgetown because we have a couple of RV parks there that are in low-lying areas. So we were going door to door to warn those people to get out immediately so that they would not become flood victims. Most of them did. However, one was rescued a little later in the day by swiftwater rescue teams from Parks and Wildlife and the Sheriff's Office. A number of pets were rescued there as well. That was Shady River RV Park on Highway 29 east of Georgetown. 2:06 p.m. We received another call of a vehicle being swept away from County Road 284 west of Liberty Hill. At this time, heavy rains were still coming down, a lot of high water. At about, excuse me just a moment, about 4:41 p.m., fire crews located that vehicle. It was still partially submerged. They were able to search the interior of the vehicle and determine that no one was inside the car. The water was still around that vehicle and it was too dangerous to look further in that area. Our deputies, along with Texas Highway Patrol and Parks and Wildlife, continue to check low water crossing areas throughout the county along the San Gabriel River, where we were experiencing severe flooding. And about 10:30 yesterday evening, communications received a call that a citizen had gone back to that partially submerged car. The water had receded and discovered there was a body trapped underneath that vehicle. That was the one that was in the area of County Road 284. Our deputies responded back to that area and helped with extricating that person from under that vehicle. So we'll continue our efforts all day today, and I'm sorry, that was our one confirmed fatality. Our efforts continue today with ground searches along the South San Gabriel River in the area of Liberty Hill, as well as a number of drone teams that have been deployed to try to find those two missing individuals.
EP's saying...
Our heartfelt sympathy goes out to all the people affected by this in Kerr County as well as here in Williamson County. We understand that families are out there desperately wanting to know about what's going on with their loved ones that are missing. We're working hard and we will exhaust all the efforts to find your loved ones and get them back to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. As we move into recovery, we're putting together our recovery plans and beginning our preliminary damage assessment. We encourage residents to report their damage to TDEM, TDEM, using the iStat tool at damage.tdem.texas.gov. County roads currently, Williamson County has 29 roads closed due to the flooding, debris, and damage. Crews are out today reopening roads as water recedes and debris is removed. 6 roads have damage to the pavement, and crews are working today to open up those roadways. Specifically on County Road 279, there's 2 spots between Leander and Liberty Hill that crews are working on today to get those roads passable and open. We have 5 other county roads with damage. County Roads 257, County Road 236,
Where are they getting 70?
County Road 207, 200, and 126. And the county will respond and get those as soon as possible. I also want to thank our first responders who went out to rescue individuals during the flooding and are now working on those recovery missions. The sheriff mentioned, and I want to specifically thank our swift water rescue teams. That's one of the most dangerous way for first responders to rescue and recover bodies. Very proud that our county answered the call to go assist in Kerr County, but at the time the next morning they had to come and assist with Williamson County. And so they put in many man hours and are thankful for that. Also want to thank the cities in their response to the emergency as well. The city of Leander sent Swiftwater Rescue to assist in Liberty Hill, and we are grateful for that. Sheriff's Office, EMS, Fire Marshal, and I also want to thank the Texas Parks and Wildlife. They not only assisted in the rescue, but they came in at shift change and provided some much needed relief from our workers who had put in a 24-hour shift. I want to thank the United States Army in Fort Hood, who used a helicopter, as I mentioned earlier, to rescue children from Hope House. The cities of Georgetown have done great as well. I know they sent city workers down. There's some homeless camps in the river.
Okay, so according to the Associated Press, let me read this article. Kerr County Sheriff Larry Lethia says 11 campers and camp counselor are still missing from powerful flood. So it's down to 11, I guess. Dozens of people have been killed since the raging floodwaters slammed a portion of central Texas starting Friday. The death toll from flash floods rose to nearly 70 on Sunday after searchers found more bodies. The victims include children who were camping along the Guadalupe River banks. That is so sad. So according to Associated Press, they upped it to 70. Wow. Damn. That is crazy, man. That's crazy.
Not only Williamson County, but across the state of Texas. Thank you. Any questions? Yes.
Hi, I have a question as far as the unaccounted or missing folks. You say there's 2. I've been chatting with folks in the Sandy Creek area near Leander, and I understand part of that 78641 zip code goes into Travis County, I believe part of it, but the majority of it is in Leander. They say they still have multiple people missing, families that have not been able to get in contact with residents of that area. I'm curious, have y'all been working with those folks in that area that were also hit by flooding?
I'll let the sheriff answer that question. I know just the information we just have the 2 missing. I know there's lots of rumors circulating around as well, but I'll let the sheriff answer specific to missing persons.
I believe most of that Sandy Creek area is in Travis County, so Travis County Sheriff's Office would be working
So it'd be on the Travis County?
That's correct.
Unaccounted?
Yes.
Okay. Even in the Leander city?
Even though it says Leander,
okay.
That Sandy Creek area is largely Travis County.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. Yes.
Do you think your evacuation response was early enough to save lives?
So I will introduce y'all to Bill Zito. He's our Director of Emergency Services in the county to talk about the proactive things that the county did and the efforts we took to save as many lives as possible in our ongoing recovery efforts.
So yeah, Bill Zito, Senior Director and Chief Emergency Services for Williamson County. To your point, I think yes. I think we took as proactive approach as we could once we realized and knew the flooding levels were going to be as dangerous as they were. We immediately started looking at our low-lying areas and proactively started sending messages. As the sheriff and the mayor or the judge explained, we had folks go out door to door, and you can't get everybody, right? You try, you message, you go out, you try to communicate face to face, but you're always going to have that one person or 2 people that take that risk and drive through that, that rushing water that they shouldn't. It's unfortunate and we're sad to lose people, but I do believe the county as a whole did a fantastic job and we have minimal lives lost because of it. So,
to that effort, the county and many counties have similar efforts where they can draw a geographic map around an area and send those emergency messages not only to residents but anyone driving through that area. It becomes more and more difficult at night. People driving through water they might not see, but the efforts of using technology proactively to get the word out, I think, saved many lives. And then the fact that our people went door to door, as Bill Zito and the sheriff mentioned, saved lives and property.
Well, like how it was kind of hard to pinpoint where all the heavy rain and the flooding was going to be in Kerr County, did you guys have a similar issue with determining where the water was going to hit or anything like that?
I don't know if either one of y'all, yeah. Realistically, we look at flood models, we look at historical flooding, and we kind of know our county vulnerable areas. We've had, again, like 2017, we've had other major flooding events in this area that we know pretty much where we need to go right away. The sheriff and deputies, they're out there every day. They know what's going to flood. So we're able to kind of predict a little bit ahead of time. You can't predict everything. You don't know exactly how much rain you're going to get. And I believe we had like 9 inches drop over Liberty Hill. But, in terms of being able to at least have a sense of where the vulnerable areas are and proactively get out there, we were able to do that.
If someone does want to report someone missing, is there a number that they can call?
So they should call 911, or they can call the non-emergency number to 911 and report that, right? And so also, some of these folks that we know were missing, right, were initial call-ins that as we try to rescue or try to make contact getting back to them, if we did not hear a response from them, then we would continue to look for that person, right?
Mm-hmm.
So.
All right, very good.
Thank you all very much.
That's crazy.
Do we have a...
It's hard to even fathom it. 70 people. Wow. All right. So we're about to go. We have a little bit more time. Let me start setting up. We're going to start a new stream on the Clips channel. Okay, make sure you subscribe and put it in the chat. We have some interesting stuff to talk about. It's a little messy stuff. Oh, I'm not a mod on this page. Is there any mods? No. I should know better than to say that. I meant to put the... I have to switch my page. The channel in the chat. Let me switch over real quick. Switch over. Okay. Let's do that. We gotta get into the murkiness because there's some lady that said those kids in that camp allegedly said, we have the video, those kids are white. Wait, don't donate, don't help them out, them white kids. And I had talked about this yesterday. Some people didn't believe it. No, they're not saying that. Come on. No, Mel, you do
so
too much.
Our numbers are going to constantly be changing.
Unbelievable video showing Texas troopers rescuing a woman desperately clinging to a tree after floodwaters swept her from her campsite and sent her downriver for 20 miles. Officials got there in time thanks to the efforts of a nearby family who spotted her and made the call. Those heroes join us right
Texas flooding. I can't have just anybody be mod. Thank you for the subscriptions. Appreciate that. Thank you guys for subscribing. Appreciate that. Yeah, we're going to move to the second channel and be live for a little bit just to cover a couple of things because she responded too. There's a couple clips. All right, guys. So I'm going to start the transfer now and we'll be live in a few minutes. All right. Thank you for the subscriptions. Appreciate all the subs. Sue, Evil, Eastside Motel, Renita Green. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Defund Girl, Dan Copeland, Craig, Merv, thank you, thank you. Hey, Debbie. Storming outside. Well, it's not raining yet, but it's like thundering over here. Thundering, kind of cloudy. I was going to do a little yard work today, too. Try to little therapeutic gardening, some yard work. So, all right, guys, I'm going to transfer you. Let the freedom go. Let the chat be the chat. Let the chat rip. Let the chat do what it does. A lot of news channels don't have mods. There's some really big channels I watch that don't have mods, or maybe they have one person kind of, doing something. Or you could go to the North Korean channels and not be able to get a word in and be moderated and blocked and whatever. There's a lot of news channels, man. It's doing all kinds of crazy stuff in those news channels. Oh, Tammy, what happened? Thanks. Still waiting on word on our friends and 2 other children. What area were they in? What part of Texas? Yeah, this is the river right now. This is Hill Country flooding team coverage. Trust me, man. When we have mods, I have a bunch of people complaining all the time. I got blocked, the timed out, all this shit. Trust me. We get mods in here, the chat's going to disappear. Very liberal mods, too. So trust me, the shit will be gone. I had to cut that shit, yo. All right. Moving on to the second page. Boop, boop, bloop, bloop. Boop, Karens.